Dudes, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing another walk around video with SoCal Suspension. I just got here. I don't know where this dude is. The shop is open. Oh, what is this, him right here? Good morning. Just roll up right at the perfect time.
Yeah, how you doing?
How's it going?
Good to see you. So this is my 54 Chevy. Did it a while back. It's my little shop truck. I wanted a little daily beat up farm truck that I could cruise around, but reliable. Put air conditioning in it. Nice, got nice seat, nice interior. Cup holders for big gulps. So it's a 54 Chevy. So they only made a 54 kind of like this for 1 year, but from 48 to 53 was kind of like this body style, but then different grill in 54.
Yep.
Yeah. And this was a truck in Arizona. It was just like sitting on a farm, kind of beat up with all the dents and bed. They used it as a farm truck, so
gives it that cool patina.
Yeah,
though.
cool
I like
patina,
it. Yeah,
yeah.
It's got character.
And then I put an S10, like a 2004 modern chassis into it, and then took back halved it. So we basically cut the chassis in half and built our own back half into the back. So it Z'd the frame so it can lay all the way out on 22-inch billet wheels. Put a 4.9-inch in it. 4-linked it. We did airbag, and versus airbag over the axle, we did airbag over the lower links, so it gets it to ride really smooth. It's like a 50-40 split, so having the airbag over the link bar and then the shock on the link bar creates just a softer, more comfortable ride in the back, versus you have an airbag right over the axle. You're stiff all the time, so you can get a smooth ride. And
this is a lot better just riding feel.
Yeah, a lot. This thing rides like a Cadillac. It's so smooth. So it's nice just to have a really comfortable ride. And then the front, we redid everything. The upper, lower control arms, custom built arms, so it can lay all the way out when it's all the way down. And then big brakes, so it has really good stopping. And then put an LS, 5.3 truck motor in it.
So is the motor stock, or is anything about that?
Stock, except for headers, exhaust, intake, things like that.
Just the fun stuff.
Just the fun, easy.
And what trans is that back
I use a 4L80. So,
4L80?
Yeah. I had so many problems with 4L60s that I'll never put another 4L60 or anything.
Yeah. So this truck's probably been completely rewired then for all that.
Rewired. This has stock ECU that's been, reflashed and tuned and all that.
Yeah.
But just it did vintage air in it, so it's got full air conditioned cold heater, so it's comfortable. All AccuAir, so all the good, preset ride heights. You can just, hit it and go.
Yeah, it's a button and it goes to exactly where you want it. What tank's back here? What's that out of?
So this is like a Mustang tank. They sit in everything perfectly. So they got these ridges, so you can just make lips.
Yeah, and just flat brackets to mount it.
Yeah, and they're not too deep. They have a slant to them, but they're pretty. They're I think it's like a 18-gallon.
It is 18 gallon. That's good.
And being small like that, it's compact.
It hides right there.
Yeah, it hides right there. Perfect.
And then is this all fuel lines?
Yeah,
and then
so all
breather.
The fuel lines, return, breather. The compressors are in the tank, so you don't have a bunch of compressors and all things around.
Yeah, it's a nice simple clean.
Simple. You got the same fuel pump they run on all the LS motors. Dual exhaust, so the exhaust come out the side.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite parts, especially with those wheels.
These wheels are super rare. It's a 2211 in the rear, and 22.9.5 in the front. But it's basically a duplication of the 50 Chevy truck wheel, but cut out of billet in a bigger size. So it's even got the same little ridges and everything that they would have where the cap would go over. We had to move these to the right. Like this thing, when it's aired out, it's hitting the tires all the way.
Yeah, you can kind of see it in the bed. It's really close.
All the way into the fender. It's crazy.
And then the interior, what do we got going on there?
So this is a seat out of a junkyard. Like, so we got it out of I think a 94, OBS truck.
Okay.
And then we put, this is the King Ranch leather, from Ford.
Yeah.
So King Ranch leather, original King Ranch leather. A new tilt column, so you got the tilt column.
Love the dash in this thing.
Yeah, you still got to do, headliner, interior, door panels, but these are just projects all the time.
Yeah. That brake's really cool too. It's just the horizontal bar down there.
Yeah. It's like almost like a bike pedal,
Yeah, exactly. It's a peg.
Yeah, it's a peg. It works good. It feels good.
And then a clean little center console too.
Yeah. That's actually the Desolate Motorsports center console for
a Bronco?
For a Bronco.
Really? It fits perfectly in there. That's awesome.
I cut it to fit, and it fit perfect.
Total sleeper too. You wouldn't expect it to have a 5.3 in it.
I know, it rips. It's so light. This thing's probably 3,000 pounds.
So we got the whole shop here. You want to go in and check things out?
Yeah, let's check it out.
Coming in the shop, What's going on in here?
So this is our showroom. Kind of gives us the capability of like showing like people wheels, tires. So we sell a lot of wheels and tires. Like Method's our big seller right now. We've been pushing Method a lot. Just great company to work with. XD, fuel, and then we do accessories like air intakes, side steps, electrical stuff. Then tires. We can show customer all the different tires and they can pick what size, what brand, from BFG to Nitto, Toyo, all that. We still sell all that.
Yeah, it's cool to have it all in the shop where you can see it and feel it.
And then like even shocks, like we'll do like all the different, showing them like the different, from a regular shock to a lowered shock, lift shock, coilovers, A-arms, everything, Nick, my head salesman, sits back here. He's really good. He takes care of all the customer, gives the customer a place to lounge. We have
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't walk back there though.
So, but they have an area to kick back, chill, wait for their car, and not have to be down in the shop bothering us.
Yeah.
Got everything just to hang out. Wi-Fi. They can be on their computer while they're for work or whatever.
Just a cool little lounging area.
Yeah,
that's
good.
Awesome. Some cool photos in there too.
Yeah. So these are a lot of the cars I've built over the years. So. From like a rat rod to kind of, this is a 1950 Chevy truck similar to that 54, just different grill. It's a GMC grill. To like an OBS. This is a lay in body. So this is body dropped, airbagged, and the roof is chopped. You can't really tell it, but it's chopped about 2 inches, so it's just subtle.
Mm-hmm.
So chopping the roof. This is a kind of like was my first, I think, name to fame. Like it got me on the map building this. This is a really rare, crazy rat rod that I built. It's a London taxi cab. I don't know if you remember in London they all ran those Austin, London taxi cabs.
Okay.
Well, this was one of the most prestigious London taxi cab that. Then there was none in America, and it was a 4-door London taxi cab. I cut the car in half this way, made it into a 2-door welded together. I cut it in half that way, made it narrower, and then chopped the roof, and then I channeled it, so I cut the bottom of the vehicle off about 6 inches.
Jeez.
And so it's been cut, narrowed, sectioned, you name it, so it's just, and then original Austin London motor in it.
Dude, that's awesome.
Crazy. And then lays on the ground, so
Oh, you can tell on that one
tell in
for
that
sure.
picture, like the door was like a quarter inch from the ground.
Doesn't even look real.
Yeah,
like the tire's almost to the top of the car.
Yeah, it's so high, but it would air up all the way up to a normal height.
I like the color too.
Yeah, it's like a candy orange, you know. So they basically lay silver down and then they candy over the silver and it creates the orange color. And then they do all the patterns. And
that's crazy. I didn't think it was a multi-step process like that.
This paint job was a year and a half in the making. Just
seriously?
Yeah.
Holy.
Gnarly.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy paint job done by Nick Cannon at Loose Cannon. He's one of the most amazing painters around. He just made it his project, you know, just amazing. And then this one is an Oldsmobile, one of my favorite, just cruiser, lowrider Oldsmobiles. The roof is all patterned out, so it's got all the patterns in it. Crazy candy gold, and the air ride is all. I did all custom hard lines, and it was a fun car.
It's cool seeing you talk about all this because you're the one who built it.
Yeah.
So like, just looking at some of these, I wouldn't get some of the information. Yeah, I wouldn't even know what you've done.
This one is cool. It's a 50 Chevy. This is my favorite car of all time. It's really symbolizes me. I'm an Irish guy, so it has a Celtic Irish roof to it.
Okay.
This all patterned out like.
Do that.
It's crazy.
Awesome.
Like I think there's like 8 coats of clear into it because it's so many different layers.
Yeah.
This is what it looked like all laid out. So this was my first custom that I did all myself. From this car didn't even run when I got it, and I chopped it, sectioned it, built the chassis, did everything. From this one is like for my labor of love. This took me 2 years, and then it's like it won Grand National Roadster Show Best Mile Custom of the Year. It won all kinds of stuff, so it was like my favorite car ever. And then I sold it to a guy in Germany and I wish I never sold it. Like if any of the cars in here, if I could pick one, I'd want this one back because it symbolized my personal. Yeah, I got all the signs on the walls up top there. These are like car show stuff, old classic like rat rod stuff. When the Chargers were good,
before they ditched us.
Drew Brees and Rivers and Ladanian all on the same team, so I have that helmet. Everyone signed it.
That's really cool. He's got some more signs up in here.
More signs, yeah. I've been collecting signs for a long time. This is our little Can-Am family toy that we go cruising the desert with.
This is your personal one, right?
Personal. This one, my son, he's young, but he's been driving a trophy cart for a while, so he started wanting to drive the Can-Am, so he's been learning on. I put pedal extenders on it, so you can't really see it, but I welded pedal extenders that bolt on, and then he can sit in there and put the seat all the way.
Yeah.
So this is the shop, and we could pull a car in and show off something we've done, and just have a good place for the customer to kick back and discuss what they want to do.
Yeah. Should we head out to the shop?
Yeah, let's go see the shop. So this is kind of our yard area. We got basically they're two car bays or 2 lift bays, but I kind of section them off. So you got big bay, and then small bay. The small bay, we do all the tire mount and balancing and all that on that side, and then we got the main bays. I did a big lift at a corner, and then this is my big. It's basically a 15,000 pound lift, so I can do HDs, dualies, the big trucks.
Yeah, big trucks in there.
So this is the shop where we do all the work and park all the cars. And this is the truck.
This is what the main thing we came here for.
So I thought we'd first thing first put it on the lift, so you can see what it looks like with the suspension all drooped out and underneath the truck and all that. I think that'd be cool for people to see how that all works.
Yeah, first time for the channel and for me seeing a truck on a lift, so this should be pretty cool.
Yeah, let's
see how this thing operates. So the truck's all racked up and Eric's gonna raise it for us. It's gonna be cool to see how everything just droops out and see how much travel this thing has. Awesome.
So this is it. So it looks like all crazy.
So do you just want to start at the front and kind of start going over things?
Sure,
or?
sure. The front's my favorite.
Yeah, it's full center mount.
Yeah.
We were talking a little bit. Ryan Hubera built this truck.
Yes, so Ryan Hubera built this truck. It was a long build. I think it was 2.5 years at his shop. It was one of those snowball things. I think it just went in for a cage and then ended up just fully building the truck. I acquired the truck. The original guy that had it built, Rich, he basically changed his whole. By the time it was built, he was kind of doing different things in life. So he just didn't want a pre-runner fast truck. He wanted more like an overland or a side-by-side thing. So I traded a vehicle for the vehicle, and I think the truck was about, I would say, 75% complete. It was running, driving when I got it, and then but everyone knows when you build a truck, the last 15% is the hardest.
Yep.
It's just all the attention to details, fully blowing the truck back apart to nothing again.
Paint, everything, finish work.
So the finish work. So I went crazy. I pulled everything apart of the truck, pulled the motor out. It had a 4L60 in it.
Okay.
When I got it, and I don't like 4L60s at all. So I put a 4L80 in it.
So is it electronic or?
No, it's all manual valve body still.
So weird just to be able to walk in here.
I know. So it's all manual valve body, but this is Cole Haynes,
double bearing
back. Yep. Yeah, so he did that. He went through a brand new transmission. Believe it or not, he had to redo the clutch pads. He had to redo everything. Yeah. So it's like this is the transmission you buy for $3,500, and I have another $6,000 into it after I bought it. So it's a bulletproof Cole Haynes special. Like, this thing kills it.
Have you had any issues with it?
Not one issue, except for I had Cole Haynes talked me into a high stall torque, the billet torque converter. Yeah. And it had a 4,000 stall on it. And I absolutely, it cranked, but I didn't like it. It was like, it took a lot to get going.
Yeah, to get going.
Yeah, so I called him and was like, hey, I hate this torque converter. And that was the only one he had at the time that was on the shelf that we could, because it's a long build. When they build the torque converters, it takes like 2 weeks. Okay. So I was kind of impatient. He's like, I have it, let's just do it. So he goes, you know what, don't worry about it. Bring the transmission back up. I'll go through it again for free. And I'll swap out the torque converter to, now I have a 2800 stall.
I think that's right around where we're at.
Yeah. So I really love the new. It's the same torque converter, but it's a 2800 stall. So it just seems better, more streetable. But I don't do street, but it's just better all around. I think just funner to drive. So it's still in manual, manual valve body. So I put in every gear up to fourth. The funny thing is you don't use fourth barely at all. In the desert you're second most time, third occasionally, when you're really hauling ass.
So what's your rear end gear ratio?
I do 543s in the rear.
That's exactly what we are. It's weird how similar our trucks are.
I love the 543s. So this is a Curry, they're pre-runner housing, but it's a semi-floater. That's my next thing, is I'm going to do a full floater cambered rear end. Okay,
you want to do cambered?
Yeah, I think I'm going to do a cambered. I'd probably do a cambered one. I just like the way they do it, how they fully build it for you, and just I'll tab it the same way and do all my link tabs the same way, but and then sell this and use the same. I had a spool full rear end done, so I'll just use the same one. So I'm stoked on that. So we'll go back up to the front.
Yeah, let's go over this craziness we got up here.
So this is his bulkhead, his design. Ryan did. Everything is TIG welded, which I'm a big TIG weld fan. I weld myself. You can see all my welders. But TIG welding is just time consuming. It's just amazing. So every single overlay plate, everything is all TIG welded. There's not one MIG weld on the vehicle except for the cage. The cage has a MIG weld on it.
Yeah, you can tell there's some hours up here.
Some hours. Like, you can see, just you look at one piece, you're like, that could have took like 2 weeks to build, you know.
Especially some of these arms, like once you start getting into all that, there's some time wrapped up in there.
I mean, building the spindles from scratch is time consuming. The steering is amazing. It's trophy truck steering box. His swing set, the ram, so the thing just steers like on a one finger.
One finger.
Yeah, it's insane.
So what shock package are you running up in the front here?
Yeah, so it's all Fox. That's what came with the truck, but I had your brother rebuild everything. So down south, your brother took them all apart, revalved them. He changed the spring rate, so we have all new spring rates now. Before, the truck was way too soft a spring rate, so it was taking too much preload to get the vehicle the way it was. So now we all new spring rates, all new valving, coilover and rear. You got 3.5 bypasses, 2.5 with the 3.0 coil, so it's kind of like your guys' truck is the same.
And then you got just a bump hiding up there?
Yeah, big bumps.
One thing I didn't even notice before is the bumper's nice and tucked in here, so you don't even see it. You get that clean look up front.
Yeah, and it's on Heims, and the whole front swing set swings out.
So the whole hood will pivot forward.
Pivots on the side.
Okay.
So we'll show you that. So the whole thing opens all in one, and then right when it gets to vertical, it just goes a little bit more and sits on these pads.
Okay, I see that.
It'll stay open perfectly. It goes past vertical and holds itself open.
You can just tell, like, some of the time mounting that box up there is like those pieces, man.
It's insane, yeah.
Crazy. And so what kind of numbers have you seen out of the front end?
So the front end is 24 inches of travel, strapped at 24.
Jeez, man.
And the rear was at 30, but I strapped it now at about 28 to 29.
Okay. That's a lot.
It seems better, a little more at the 28, because this thing, the rear has more travel, so the front comes off the ground before the rear. What was happening, I think it was strapped at 28, and the straps had stretched, a little bit. So
so you get a little bit more.
But it'll get with no straps, it goes to 31. So 30 to 28 is where you want to be on the strap, so you're using it properly. So the back is he did all the, these are all TIG welded.
Hugh Barrow right there.
Yep.
JF.
Ryan's. I love how he did all the shocks are all tucked away. This upper mount on the all the back work.
Yeah, we were talking when this thing's sitting, you don't even see the shocks.
You don't even see
nice
it,
below the bed line.
He did all the tin work. I just powder coated everything and redid it so it's all finished. Big sway. I love having a sway bar. That's one thing I think I might do next is a front sway bar on those Geyser trophy trucks. They do the front sway bar. I'm going to kind of copy their design and but just play with the bar to get it to where it rides right and still articulates and does everything right. But I like sway bars, like the way I drive is pretty aggressively.
Yeah. So we've seen that. Yeah, here's just another shot of that rear end back here. And you can tell everything is coated in Line-X.
Yeah, everything. So Dallas and San Diego Line-X did everything. So he coated under every single tube, inside the cab, inside all the bed. So it's very rigid and all the tube. I just did these. These used to be Line-X, but I wanted them removable like your guys' truck.
Yep.
Because I like when you go to Glamis or something, taking the bed sides off, just having these little nubs out and having it open and
Yeah, taking out these bolts compared to all the fender washers is way easier.
This opens, so this will open, slides down, and then the jack comes sliding out the back.
Oh, really? So this folds down?
This hinges down all the way, yeah.
So you just pull the Zeus? Or?
Yep, I'll show you. You can do the Zeus.
Put it down? Wow.
Yeah.
Nice and tidy.
Nice and
little
tidy.
access panel. That's perfect.
Access panel, you can pull your jack when you need it.
And you got your batteries hiding up in there as well?
My 2 batteries hiding up there. Definitely nice to have 2 batteries. This thing cranks over, so it's always got power.
Yep.
I ran these KC.
What are they, the rock lights?
The rock lights, yeah. So I got my amber, it hooked up to my ambers, and then I got it hooked up to my rear lights, like my blinkers and all that stuff, and then these also work if I want them. But if I have the bed size off, I'll still have my brake lights and my ambers and my blinkers all kind of on the same.
Yeah, that's smart. So when you're in the sand and you can't have your bedside on for whatever reason for paddles, it's nice to have that.
All the bedsides and everything are the Mark McNeil's conversion. So
Perry's son?
Yeah. So when I rolled it, it was different. It had the old bedsides, regular hood, but now it has all modern, the new 2016 and up bedside conversion, basically.
So when you rolled it, you had this thing back together pretty quick. So what all did that entail?
So rolling it was, the cool thing is, after I rolled it, I thought it wasn't that bad. Of course, it actually started up. It ran afterwards. I mean, it lost a lot of oil and brake fluid and all that good stuff. So I could drive. I drove it back to camp, got it on the trailer, got it back to the shop, and immediately started on all the cosmetics stuff. I cut the whole roof off. So I cut basically at the pillar, like K-rail, and the entire top of the roof off. So I just started cut the roof off. And then I started looking junkyards, wreck yards, and A&B Towing had a white, Tundra, same as this, same year, everything, 2002. They brought the cab, and I needed doors because the doors, 3 of the doors were damaged. So they basically sold me the 3 doors, and they sold me a gutted cab. Okay. And then I put it on a roller, and I just cut the cab off of that one a little fat, bigger than where I cut this one. Yeah. And then I laid it over it and just started cutting till I got it to line up properly. And I've, being a hot rod and custom guy, I've chopped roofs on cars, so I know what I'm doing with sheet metal and chopping a roof and things like that. But this was different. Usually you have the doors. Original doors are still good. Mm-hmm. So then when you have the doors, you can start cutting the doors and making them work on a chop vehicle. This one, I had to do the doors, so I realized fast that you needed to, instead of leaving the doors off and trying to plumb the roof without the doors, you need to have the doors on. Okay. Because if you don't, you're just looking at, you're measuring. It's hard to get it lined up properly. Lined up and everything. So I basically tacked the roof on with no doors, and then I put the doors on and nothing lined up. Yeah. I mean, it looked so good when I was done, but then when the doors were on, everything's off. It was off. It's like, what the hell? So basically cut the roof back off. Then I spent a whole day getting all the doors on, aligning, closing properly, and working perfect. So got all the doors on, and then I re-put the roof on to match the doors, got it all aligned, tacked it all in, and it was perfect. Yeah. Like, how did that happen? So now it was perfect. Got the doors, everything aligned, and then started seam welding without warping, tacking all over to get it all to be a solid roof. And big mistake, don't leave your seats in the car when you're doing that. Oh geez, so burn them up? Or? I took all the seats out except for the driver's seat because I was driving in and out at the time. Mm-hmm. And so I put a welding blanket over the driver's seat, and I was tacking and welding the roof back up. And Nick, my partner, went to the gas station, gave me something to drink, and he had left, and I also felt heat on my side, and my seat was on fire. Jeez. Fully engulfed in flames. I freaked out, ran, grabbed my fire extinguisher, emptied it out on my seat, melted my seat, my steering wheel, and my harnesses were all burnt. Sucked. And Nick came back, what did you do? So the whole thing was on fire. So I got the seat out, and it just was a seat and those things, so I had to buy a new seat and buy a seat belts and a new steering wheel. And then so I gutted it completely, finished welding the whole roof, and then I had to do body work, Yeah. So it was just a fast. When I like to thrash, just go
get
at
it done,
get it done, and I'm a type of guy. Once I get, I'm a one track mind. I think a lot of guys are that way. So once we get into the thing, if we stop or go on a different, it'll just get pushed aside. Yeah. So I just go at it, and I spent I think 4 weeks straight every day here until midnight, and just stay after work because I only can work on it on my free time because I'm working on customers' cars all day. So. So,
So 4 weeks from the time you rolled it to when it was driving again?
It was driving again, yeah.
That's still
that
so
was still
quick.
Fast, yeah.
That's still so quick. I remember seeing the cab being on it, the new one. I was like, dude, like he's already getting this done.
I know, right? And then at the same time, I took all the suspension back apart off the truck again, and then I gave all the coilovers and everything to your brother to revalve everything, change the spring rates. So I just added more stuff to my thing, and and I took the drive shaft off, redid that. So then after it rolled, that's why I'm gonna go full floater. But this is my my third set of Curry axles. What happens when you roll it? It just happened, you know, it bends the flange, so then the whole tire is just dancing.
It's wobbling.
So it blew out the bearings and everything. So I've had to do that, and I had to have the rear end rebuilt twice. So just things like that. The rear ends are strong; they don't break, but the axles break. Or bend or break.
So what rim and tire setup are we running?
So these are the Methods, the 101s, and then the BFG 37, you know, the Baja KR2s are real, you know, stuff they use in.
Are these brand new? These looks.
Yeah, they're brand new.
Still got everything on them.
I did these the same time I rebuilt it when I did the roll. I used to have just KM3s. Okay. And KM3s with Ultras.
And then one thing we kind of glanced over was the motor. We talked about transmission.
Oh yeah, so motor, that's another thing when you do bulkhead, you kind of see it from this side.
Yep.
So it's an LS1. This is a Texas Speed motor, so Texas Speed did it. The motor's pushed back 18 inches.
Yeah, you can just see the front side of it right there.
Yeah, so that gives you all the bulkhead stuff, but also this thing really has a good weight disbursement. Like when you jump it, it doesn't nosedive, it doesn't go up too high, it just kind of just really
it's
stays level really well, having the motor push back. So we'll show you later, but all the sheet metal work in the cab to have the motor it's right in between you, you know, it's right there in between the two seats, so that really is nice. The motor is I think it was 550 horsepower motor from Texas Speed. So what they did was they milled the head, get higher compression, they port and polish the heads, their cams, you know, it's all Phytech, big intake mounted, big throttle body, headers, so the thing rips. And then when I got it, I took it back apart, put a different cam in it, then I took it to Dunhoon and have them tune it, and I've always wanted to have a vehicle on E85. I've heard good things about getting good horsepower and efficiency and all that thing, so I've heard maybe 30-40 horsepower gains with E85, but this one was incredible. 88 horsepower gain on E85. So it went from, I think it dynoed 325 just base tune, and then we put E85, changed the fuel injectors, just pumped out the gas, put new gas in it, and all of a sudden it was in the 400s.
So crazy.
It's insane.
And you said this truck weighed how much?
Oh yeah, and it weighed 5140. So 5,140 pounds with no gas in it.
So in terms of an off-road truck, that's pretty light.
Yes. Yeah.
And with that amount of power, this
for a
full
size, it's really light, super light. All full sizes are 6,000 pounds usually and up, you know. So just having a 5,000 pound truck.
So with that kind of power to weight, this thing probably feels insane.
Yeah, these things insane. Like now on E85 with the 400 and some horsepower to the wheels, this on 37s. It screams. I mean, it's unstoppable. 5,000 RPMs to 6,500 RPMs. It just cranks.
Yeah,
it's so fast, so fast. So everything tilts on these hinges. I mean, once it gets to a certain,
hits that pad.
Yes, hits that pad. And this can give you a more idea.
Of just what's going on, and you can see how far that motor is pushed back in there.
Yep.
Stuff. So you can tell it's right under that dash right there.
Exactly. So it just really sits back. So I did all the lights, built all those into the actual tilt hood, so it all stays into that. So I can unplug it and take it all off.
So that's Baja Design's lights.
Baja Design lights, original headlights.
Big cross member right there.
Yeah. So that's cool too. So basically, this cross member will completely unbolt. And you can take it out, and that way you could pull the whole engine out.
Yeah, it makes things way easier.
Way easier. PSC, the big power. These is what they use in the trophy trucks. So it's just like overkill. Amazing. Spares in the back, so that's good. You got all your radiator in the back, your batteries in the back, fuel cell in the back, your transcooler in the back. the lights are on an actuator, so inside the cab you can raise and lower the lights, which is really nice.
So is this all CBR coolers?
Yep, CBR coolers.
Jazz fuel cell?
Jazz fuel cell, like a 36 gallon.
36 gallon.
Dual fire extinguishers just in case I roll again.
Well, you just always got to have those. You never know what's going to happen.
Those. Yeah, exactly. So that's the one thing I wanted. I wanted a full 4-seater, you know. So I was going to do a bench in the back, but these worked out perfect. Believe it or not, the back seats are Razor Can-Am seats for the rear, and then these are the front Can-Am seats. Or actually, PRP makes them for a Can-Am.
Okay. So are these just a little bit smaller?
Smaller. So you can see these are just a tiny bit smaller, but they're like a miniature, but a full-size adult fits back there. So
yeah, and that'll probably just allow you to get more of that leg room in there.
Yeah, more leg room in there, and they fit really well. So I just made my own bracketry to fit these in them and beyond the heights I want. We built the dash, just a simple, clean dash that kind of user-friendly, so everything's facing you and everything's real easy to grab and touch. You know, I've realized that, you know, having everything touchable and movable and not having to, because once you're belted
you can't move around in there.
You can't move, so bringing it to you is important.
So it's like a legit cockpit.
Yeah, legit cockpit.
And is the motor sitting right under all that paneling?
Yeah, so all the paneling here. There's access panels for everything. So you got access panels here, access panels, so you can get the things like when I was changing the spark plugs, I can change them on both sides, pull these panels out, change them.
That probably makes those are probably hard to get to.
It's hard to get to. Yeah, the back spark plugs were impossible without these panels, so it's well thought out.
And then so you just got your switch pros, some gauges, and then GPS on the other side.
Right. You got this is the FiTech unit, which is kind of cool. It gives you readouts of, you know, everything it's doing. You can change those to, you know, your RPMs to speed, and
so there's some nice little display.
I put, you know, trans temp and things that are important on there, so I can always
monitor it.
But yeah, it's a clean little cockpit. Everything's Line-X inside, so Dallas did it all. So after the desert, I could just spray it out with water.
Yep, easy cleanup.
Yeah, use air, get all the water out, and clean it up, and you're good for the next trip.
So that's going to be it for this video. I want to thank Eric a lot for taking the time to come out here on a day off.
Yeah.
And go around the shop and the truck with us. This is probably the best walk around video I've done yet.
Good.
It's really cool to see the whole shop and everything, and go through the truck in detail, see it on a lift. That was an awesome first experience. So thank you for that.
Yep.
If you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.